So 11 months ago, I said that I'm going to turn 100 Rand and turn it within the first year into 500,000 so that I can start with this 500k challenge. And then I'm going to take that money and turn it into 20 million by applying the wealth creator strategy. So today it's 11 months later, and I'd like to give you feedback and then at the same time give you like a training so that maybe this training can help you to put you on the right path so that you'll be able to do the same thing. So the exact figure that was earlier today was 3,665,945 rands and 36 cents. Right, so I think that you're going to agree with me that very, very few people will be able to do that. And the only reason is because they do not have the skill. They typically will go to someone else and hope that that person or that organization or that expert is going to help them to be able to do it. And I can tell you now that that is not possible. And that is the reason why I took this challenge. And also I've said that I'm going to give training. And today I've got a very special training session for you in general, not only on this topic, but you can apply it in anywhere where you want to learn something new. So first of all, welcome. And if you're new to this channel, I'm Dreyer. I'm the founder of the Wealth Creators Method, where we help entrepreneurs and investors to create, to grow, and to protect their wealth by applying the Wealth Creator strategy. And it is important to understand this strategy. So if I can give you a definition of this strategy, is the intelligent use of limited resources, in other words, there's 100 Rand, to go from where you are, the 100 Rand, to where you want to be, 20 million, in the shortest possible time, 5 years, with the least amount of risk. So when it comes to risk, the way that I mitigate my risk was to say that I'm not going to use more than or invest more than 100 Rand. In other words, I can't go to a bank and ask them and borrow money from them and try fancy financial structures. So by following this, I must gain the skill. So what is risk? Risk is when you do not know what you're doing, and that is where the majority of investors are going wrong. They've got no idea what they're doing. It's not necessarily their fault because they are conditioned to take their money, give it to someone else, hoping that that someone else is going to make them rich. And in real life, it's not working that way because you are taking all the risk by giving your money away, and then you've got no control over the growth. So to limit the risk, you need to know what it is that you're doing. And the way to offset that risk is simply to gain the skills. Now, there are 4 high-value skills. The first one is high-value mental skill, and this is what I'm going to focus on today in part. And then, of course, from there, high-value income skill, high-value business skill, high-value investment skill. And the 3 investment skills that I'm using will be business, property, as well as cryptos. At the moment, my crypto portfolio is down by about 28%. And that is 100% fine because I see this as a long-term investment. Right. So the thing that I want you to understand before we start getting deeper into this is that to learn a skill is not to gain information. It's not to go to a university or get a diploma or to become a certified financial planner by getting all the academic qualifications in terms of the financial system. It is not that. To gain a skill means that you've got the ability to actually do that yourself. So if you're a financial planner or a CA or an MBA or whatever profession you are, you're going to find that they teach you everything about the product and how it works and the legal part of it and the tax part of it, but they will never ever teach you the skills to be able to do it. Right. So, for example, if you're a fund manager that is working for Sanlam or Liberty or Old Mutual here in South Africa, you're going to find that you know a lot, and it's very, very complicated and difficult to become a fund manager. But still, you won't be able to turn 100 Rand, your own 100 Rand, into 3.6 million in 11 months. So, what's the process that we're following? If I want to learn a new skill, and I'm going to direct you from my point of view, right or wrong, you can decide at the end of the day. So we already see what the wealth creator strategy is risk offset, and then skills offset risk. And then, of course, there are 4 major skills that we need to do. So all skills, I want you to get this, all skills, every single skill, if someone can do it and they've got a system, you and someone else can learn exactly how to do that. In other words, all skills are teachable, it's learnable, and there are certain criteria that we're going to get into right now, and therefore it's transferable. And these high value skills, unless you've got them, you will not be able to do something that I'm busy doing, this 100 Rand story at the moment. So unless you are open to learn, you're not going to gain the skills to take the 100 to more than 3.6 in 11 months. For that reason, there's a responsibility that lies on you or on me if I want to learn a new skill. And that is, I need to be open and I need to be teachable. So teachability is where everything is going to start, because it means that I am going to learn something that I do not know or did not know, but not the knowledge. I must get the knowledge, the applied knowledge. The applied knowledge is by doing that and be able to prove the results. It's only the result that's going to prove me or you if you have got the skill. It's not the knowledge, it's not passing an exam. And this is a major difference between what we're doing at the Wealth Creators Method and what the financial institutions are doing, or even you can do all the courses and read all the books and you can do all the YouTube videos, but you still won't be able to do it unless you've got the skill. So let's dive a little bit into this concept of teachability. So an individual's teachability, or the ability to learn by being taught by someone else, and I call that a mentor. Okay, and there's a specific reason. If you attend any of my live seminars or master classes, you'll understand that. And by the way, if this is something that you are interested in, make sure to like this, click that subscribe button and the bell icon, and make sure that you get on this playlist. And then also go back to the first video. This is where I'm going to introduce you on the 1st of November, or just after the 1st of November 2021, why I'm taking on this challenge and what I'm going to do. And then the training basically starts. So this is now 11 months into this, and again, this is part of the training. And today I want to talk a little bit about your ability to be able to learn new skills. Okay, so to learn a skill is actually the first part of the high value mental skill. It's a mental skill. So if you're not open to learn, no one will be able to transfer those skills or that knowledge, that body of knowledge, that applied knowledge to you. It is absolutely, totally impossible. Now, I'm a skeptic person by nature. So if someone tells me something, I'm not just going to believe it. That's why I discovered this way back in 1987, because I had my training as a financial planner and they taught me a lot of stuff. But in real life, it made absolutely no sense, because when I look at the results that I've applied in my own life by buying these products that they tell me to buy and that's going to help me to become rich, none of them work. And after 3 years of doing that, I was in a serious negative situation. So I started looking at alternatives, and this is where I discover that there's another system, a system that operates not in terms of the financial system, but a system that operates on the natural laws. And this is mind-boggling, because most people even know that finances and natural law are intertwined. You can't separate them. And the financial institutions do not want you to know that. So I want you to, whenever you learn something, to have, let's call it a healthy skepticism. Because one of the things that I try to do each and every time that I do a presentation like this, for example, today, this that I'm doing, my auditors will be able to verify. In other words, I can prove that I've taken 100 Rand, only 100 Rand, without going to the bank, without any fancy financial structures, and that it's worth more than 3.6 million, at least this morning. So once you see proof, in other words, once you are open-minded, or let's call it willingness to learn, mostly because maybe what if it is the truth? So there has to be a little bit of trust. So let's go to a diagram, and then I'm going to quickly explain this diagram and use this as part of this learning experience. So in this diagram, we're going to find that we call it the teachability bell curve. And I want to make this applicable basically on how to take 100 and turn it into 20 million in less than 5 years. So to learn a high value mental skill, I think this is one of the most things, and basically this is a fundamental skill. In other words, unless you are prepared to do this, you're not going to learn the techniques and the strategies, and it's not going to make any sense to you. So you have to get back to the basics. And the basics is based on natural law, and it's based on the truth. The truth is what's going to set you free. But unfortunately, the financial systems and the systems out there, they're not going to teach you this, because the moment that you understand the truth, you're not going to need them. So you need to be in an open-minded state of mind. Now, on the lower bar, you're going to see that on the left-hand side, it starts with arrogance. Now, what is arrogance, if I can make it easily understandable? Arrogance is the moment that someone says, I can do it, but they haven't got the knowledge, they haven't got the skills, and they're not able to prove that they can do it. I think that is what arrogance is. Now, I see there's a confusion, because the moment that I say, but I know how to take 100 Rand because I've got the skills, by the way, and turn it into 20 million, there's a lot of people on Facebook and YouTube that says, yeah, you're arrogant. I'm not arrogant. I know I can do it because I've done it in the past, and I've proved it in the past, and I've got financial backing in terms of auditors, independent auditors, reports and financials to be able to prove that that is actually what I've done. And then it goes into cynicism, and then a rigid skepticism, and then the teacher, and then the student mentality. Now, I'm a professional student, so since 1987, I dedicated my life to be a lifelong student. And I think if you really want, not only in finance, but on the spiritual side, in terms of your health, you need to become a student, but at the same time, a teacher. So I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, and then you can decide if this is something that you like to copy. What I'm doing is to get applied knowledge. In other words, I'm looking for the skills. Applied knowledge means that I can actually do. I've got a deep understanding of that specific subject. And then I can apply it in my life and be able to prove the results. That's what I'm referring to if I'm talking about knowledge, or if I'm talking about skills. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just trying to get the information and think that I'm going to pass an exam. My exam is real life. And that's what I want for you. So when you start studying, right, I want you to be the student, but then at the same time open-minded. But then as soon as you can do it through your actions, you actually become the teacher. So in 2002, Tanya came to me and she said, because I retired at the age of 37, being financially free, 5-7 years later, Tanya came to me and said to me, Hannes, why don't you take this body of knowledge that you've got, and with your systems, and start teaching this? Because more and more people would ask her, but Tanya, how is it possible that you can stay in the house that you're staying, driving the cars that you are driving? Hannes is always at home. You're always basically traveling and stuff like that. What is it that you're doing? So she said to me, go and teach. And the teachings that I'm doing from 2002 up to now, the underlying thing is not to teach information. It is to transfer skills. That's why we've got the Property Pro Investment course. That's why we've got the cryptocurrency investment system. That is why we've got the money-making machine when it comes to business, and the mental courses that we've got. It's how do we turn that knowledge into real life experiences that can benefit us. Right. Now, in order to do that, again on this bell curve, you're going to find that we need to have a certain amount of trust. And that's why I'm giving proof in the webinar and seminars that you are invited to. Simply means that you'll see that I spend quite a bit of time to prove to you that this strategy, that it really and truly and honestly works. But if you move further on the scale, you find that there are certain people that are gullible or outright naive. Please do not ever fall into that trap where you just blindly start trusting someone. And I've been in that situation where I trusted the financial system. That's why I've got all the damn degrees that I've got. Because at a certain point in my life, I thought that this was real knowledge. But it's useless information. At least this is the way that I see it. I'm not saying that you should adopt or believe a word that I'm saying. So that's the spectrum of teachability. And the best possible situation or position to be in is right at the top of this bell curve, is where you're a student, but you also apply it so that you become the mentor. And that is why I've got the right, because I've earned that right, because I can prove at a relative young age that this that I'm doing, that it's working. And my students, through their results, can prove that it's working. So this basically means that you must have this healthy balance between being a student and being a teacher, but at the same time, be skeptical and see what's going to work for you and how you can apply it in your life, but also at the same time, at least trust the mentor, that on condition that they can prove that they've done it, and show you and prove to you the results, that you are open-minded enough to be able to continue with that. Right. So another thing that I want is to be able to see the results as quickly as possible. So I've said that I'm going to take 100 and turn it into 500,000 within the first year. But we've been through the 500,000 in a very, very, very short time, a little bit more than a month. We were there. And why? Because if I look at the wealth creator strategies, intelligent use of limited resources to go from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest possible time. I don't want to waste 10 years or 20 years in order to get to the 20 million or my life. I want to get there as quickly as possible on condition, and it's only going to be possible if I'm taking responsibility and I've got the skills to be able to do it. Right. So for that reason, I want you to put yourself in that position if you want to learn any new skills, not only in terms of the finances, but any new skills. Right. So consider information like this with an open mind and see, but how can I apply this? So if you may be busy with an academic qualification, that qualification is a useless qualification financially, right? If it's a financial qualification, maybe if you're a medical doctor or so, it's great. But also be skeptical and query, isn't there a better way of doing? Just because your lecturers are telling you that this is the way, doesn't mean that that is the only way or the right way. And then what are the results that they're getting? Okay, so have that skepticism, but at the same time, trust those people, because they've got the qualifications to be able to prove that at least they know that specific body of knowledge that they've got. So this then is the mental part that you need to get right before you start any course, read any book, watch any YouTube videos. So make sure to be on the top of that. Now there's maybe another point that I want you to get, and that is be careful for mind control. Right, now what do we mean with mind control? Let's call it the global elite. They understand that you can control a person psychologically and through feeding them specific kinds of information, right? And they're going to do that in order to benefit them. So humans should always take great care of the source of information that they're going to follow, right? So when I started in the financial industry, and I thought that would help me. But a couple of years down the line, I realized 5 years down the line, I could see from my own personal results that this knowledge that I'm gaining, although I'm applying it, it's from the wrong source. This is there to benefit them, not me. So make sure that when you build skills, you build those skills on the right source, on the truth, what I refer to it, right? So how do they do that? Very simple. They put us in a state of ignorance or in a state of conforculation. Conforculation is when a mental state of mind, again mental, when you do not know that you don't know what you're supposed to know. Ignorant is when you do know, or there are ways for you to find out the truth, but you deliberately, intentionally decide to either ignore it or not to apply it because maybe it takes a little bit too much of your time or too much effort. And then you say, okay, but it's not going, but you know it's going to work. So after today, you've got a serious problem, because you can't be in a state of conforculation, because if I could do it and can do it and are doing what I'm doing at the moment, and I've done it in the past, and there are literally millions of other people around the world that is doing it, you can't be in a state of conforculation. But at the same time, you can't be ignorant to the fact that things like this is possible. Because each and every rich person on this planet Earth, I can almost guarantee you, especially if it's new riches that they built within, let's say, 5 to 10 years, they are not following the traditional system, right? So these institutions want you to dumb down. In other words, they want you to stay, let's call it in inverted commas, they want you to stay stupid. It's not that you are stupid as a person, but if you haven't got the information, or you do not believe that, or you believe in the wrong information, then you're not going to start getting the results. Right. Now, why do they do that? That was a question that I've asked way back in 1987. You see, it's all about mind control. It's about controlling the human perceptions. It's mind control. Because as long as you believe them, you're going to give your heart and money to them by not taking the responsibility. And there's 200 reasons why you're going to justify why it's better for you to give it to you. But again, it's about perceptions. And those perceptions are not the truth, right? So make sure that when you do something, that you understand what you do. And they do that in order to create a world where the average person is going to stay mediocre or poor. In fact, I think that you are going to see over the next couple of months or years that the middle class is going to start getting poorer and poorer. I've been witnessing this over the last 20 years. So be skeptical. I don't tell you to just be gullible and to trust everything that I'm saying and to be naive. That's not what I'm saying. But at least attend my webinars or attend my master classes, my free master classes, where I'm going to take you through the process. We haven't got the time today to get into it. And I hope that you'll find a link down below this video in the description area where you can book for the 500K masterclass and see what we're doing, where we are. And there's a ton of training that I'm going to give to you. And stay skeptical, right? I don't want you to just believe everything that I'm saying. And also, I start my seminars and my master classes and my courses by saying, this is the way that I see it. You don't have to believe me. Take the responsibility to see what you can use and how to use this information in order to be able to benefit you. Our job as mentors, as teachers, is to increase the conscious level of people. In other words, to bring the conscious, the awareness levels up to where every single person can and will not only understand, but accept that we were born to have a life of absolute total abundance. And that by taking the responsibility, we can gain the skills. But we have to check the source that tells us that this is the right skill that you need in order to do that. There's no flippin' way, my friend, that through giving your money away to someone else, that you'll ever learn any skills, that you'll ever learn something that is valuable, that you can apply, where it becomes applied knowledge, where you can take 100 Rand or 10 Rand or this nonsense that you need money to make money. It's a lie. And it's being spread by two many institutions and too many experts out there that does not want to take the responsibility to apply real truth to themselves. And this truth is basically, it comes from a ability within yourself to understand yourself, to become aware of yourself, and to become aware of where you are in the universe in terms of this. And it's very simple, because in the universe there are natural laws. And the moment that you understand the natural laws and you bring this into the natural laws, magic is going to happen, and that is what I wish for you. So if you like this information, please give me a like, and then subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Leave me a comment. What do you think? Do you think it's possible that anyone can take 100 Rand, or that you can take 100 Rand and turn it into millions? Do you think that I'm going to be able to get my end result? Give me the comment in the comment section. So congratulations right at the end that you are willing to learn, and that you are willing to put in the time and the effort, because that is what learning is. It's going to take time and effort in order to get a better understanding. But I guarantee you that the end result financially, not only financially, because the natural laws works in every single area of our life, but it's because we do not take the responsibility to figure out these laws and how they can benefit us, that the financial institutions are busy with a massive propaganda machine in order to keep us in the dark and not to tell us the truth. So thanks for your time. I'll see you in the next one.